The year was 1934. It was a time of great change. America faced the Great Depression. In the dry Southwest, water was life. Arizona was worried about its water. Specifically, it worried about the Colorado River. California was growing very fast. It needed much more water for its cities. It also needed water for its farms. Arizona felt its powerful neighbor, California, planned to take too much. This was a serious concern for Arizona's future. Arizona had not signed the Colorado River Compact of 1922. This compact was an agreement. It divided the river's water among 7 states. Arizona leaders felt the agreement was unfair. They believed it gave California too large a share. They feared that if they agreed, Arizona would not have enough water for its own growth. This fear was deep. It shaped many of Arizona's actions. The state wanted to protect its rights to the precious river. Governor Benjamin B. Moore was Arizona's leader. He was a doctor, not a politician by trade, but he was a strong defender of Arizona. He believed California was acting aggressively. He felt California was ignoring Arizona's needs. The federal government seemed to side with California. This made Governor Moore very determined. He decided Arizona had to take a stand. He would not let California simply take what it wanted. This strong feeling led to a dramatic moment. Arizona, under Governor Moore, decided to act. They would challenge California directly. This was not a formal declaration of war as countries do. It was a strong statement. It showed Arizona was serious. The state was ready to fight for its water. This fight would happen at a place called Parker Dam. It was a bold move by a determined state. Parker Dam was a key part of California's plan. The dam was to be built on the Colorado River. This river formed part of the border. It was between Arizona and California. The main purpose of Parker Dam was simple. It was to create a large reservoir. This reservoir would be named Lake Havasu. From this lake, water would flow. It would go through a new aqueduct. This was the Colorado River Aqueduct. It would carry water to Southern California. California saw the dam as essential. Los Angeles was a thirsty city. Southern California's farms needed irrigation. The state was investing huge sums of money. The aqueduct was a massive engineering project. Parker Dam was the starting point for this lifeline. California believed it had the right to build. They thought the Federal Bureau of Reclamation supported them. For California, there was no turning back. The water was vital for its continued prosperity. Arizona had a different view. Governor Moore argued forcefully. He said the dam was being built illegally. He claimed part of the construction was on Arizona land. Arizona had not given its permission. The governor believed the federal government was overstepping. He said it could not authorize such a project, not without Arizona's clear consent, especially for a dam mainly helping another state. This was Arizona's firm legal position. The stakes were very high for Arizona. If California built the dam without agreement, Arizona could lose. It could lose control over a vital stretch of the river. This meant losing future water resources. These resources were crucial for Arizona's own development. The state was still growing. It needed water for its towns and farms too. The fight over Parker Dam was a fight for Arizona's future. It was a fight for its fair share. In March 1934, Governor Moore took bold action. He decided words were not enough. He declared martial law in the area. This was the land around the dam site. It was on the Arizona side of the river. This was a very serious step. It showed the governor meant business. He wanted to stop the dam construction. He wanted to force California and the federal government to listen. Arizona would not be ignored any longer. Governor Moore called out the Arizona National Guard. A small group of soldiers was sent. They went to the riverbank near the dam site. Their orders were clear. They were to prevent any construction work. Arizona even had a tiny navy. It consisted of a couple of small ferry boats. One boat was famously named the Nellie T. Bush. It was named after a state senator. These boats patrolled the Arizona side of the river. The confrontation was tense but mostly symbolic. On one side were California's construction workers. They were ready to build the dam. On the other side were Arizona's soldiers. They were there to stop them. No shots were fired. There was no real battle. But it was a clear standoff. News reporters called it the Arizona-California War. It captured the nation's attention. It showed how serious the water dispute had become. The federal government had to step in. The dramatic events made headlines. Secretary of the Interior Harold Ickes was concerned. He did not want the situation to escalate. He ordered a temporary halt to construction. This pause was to allow for a legal review. It was also to cool down the heated tempers. For Arizona, this was a small victory. Governor Murr's show of force had worked. It got the attention he wanted. After the standoff, the fight moved to the courts. Arizona took its case against the dam. It went all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. The court looked at the laws. In an initial ruling, the court sided with Arizona. It said the dam had not been properly authorized. Congress had not given specific approval for Parker Dam. This was a legal point Arizona had raised. It seemed Arizona had won a significant victory. However, the federal government acted quickly. California's need for water was still great. The project was very important, so Congress passed new legislation. This new law specifically authorized the Parker Dam project. It closed the legal loophole Arizona had used. This meant construction could legally go forward. California would get its dam. But Arizona's fight was not entirely over. The state still needed to secure its own water future. Eventually, a resolution was found. Arizona agreed to the dam. In return, the state received important benefits. It got a share of the hydroelectric power. This power would be generated by Parker Dam. More importantly, Arizona got support for its own water project. This was the Gila project. It would bring Colorado River water to central Arizona. This was a huge step for the state. Arizona finally ratified the Colorado River Compact in 1944. The war over Parker Dam had a lasting impact. It showed the intense fight for water in the West. While California built Parker Dam, Arizona's actions were not in vain. The dramatic standoff forced negotiations. These talks ultimately benefited Arizona. The state secured vital water for its future growth. It taught a lesson. States needed to assert their rights, especially in big federal water projects. This event helped shape water policy for decades.